The Democrats are scared right now. But also we're going to win because we are going to show voters the contrast between the conservative policies that have made Texas number one versus the radical liberal ideology that would destroy our state. And guess what? We will not let Beto destroy our state. We are going to win. Texas. Listen, this contrast is so easy to show. Let's take, for example, an issue that I know a lot of voters are concerned about, and that is jobs and the economy. When it comes to the economy, Texas has the fastest growing economy of any state in the United States of America. And since you all last re-elected me to be your governor, Texas ranks number one for the most new jobs added. But here's the deal. If you look at the policies advanced by Beto, they involve spending more of your money and raising your taxes in ways that would destroy our economy. And you know what? We will not let that happen. I'm running for re-election to keep Texas number one for jobs and the economy. So you know there are many different attributes that come from having the strongest economy in America. And that is Texas right now, we are sitting on a budget surplus of $27 billion. So for those in the back, I said $27 billion budget surplus. And so listen, we'll use some of that money to take care of education and health care and the other needs that we have. But listen, whose money is that? You're exactly right. And as a result, what I want to do with at least half of that, which is at least $13.5 billion, is to give you the largest property tax cut in the history of the state of Texas. Just know that on this issue, again, there's a big contrast between myself and Beto, because when Beto was on city council, he raised property taxes 3 times. We don't need anybody in the governor's office who's going to raise property taxes. If you want your property taxes cut, send me back to be your governor for 4 more years. Listen, you know, one reason why we have such a good budget surplus is because Texas ranks number one in America for the most oil and gas produced in this country. In fact, if we were our own country, we would rank like number 3 or 4 in the entire world as one of the leading producers. And at the same time, we're here tonight in the energy capital of the world and the baseball capital of the world. But listen, this energy issue is very important because Beto came out in favor of the radical leftist idea of supporting the Green New Deal. The Green New Deal that would destroy oil and gas production. It would eliminate hundreds of thousands of good-paying jobs, many of them right here in the greater Houston area, and it would drive up the price that you're already paying at the pump. I am running for re-election to keep Texas number one for producing oil and gas in the United States of America. So listen, this campaign is about more than just economics. It's also about our kids. It's about our future. It's about making sure we educate our kids on what really matters for those kids. And here again, there's a massive difference between the two because Beto supports the teaching of critical race theory in our schools. In fact, he said that teachers could teach whichever version of history they want to teach. That is wrong. We need to understand the important part of history, and that is what made the United States the most successful, most powerful country in the history of the world, and they need to be taught what must be done to ensure we're able to perpetuate that. And so I will not allow your taxpayer dollars to be used to have our students to be taught to hate our country. We're in the best country in the history of the world. And you know, some people we can thank for that are people who are in our audience today. One reason why we're the greatest country is because we've been home of the mightiest military in the history of the world. If there's anybody here who has or is serving in the United States military in any capacity, would you wave and so we can see who you are? And thank you for your service. But listen, even more dangerous than teaching things like critical race theory in our schools is this radical, and I'm going to get to the wall in a second. We're adding more as we speak, but I'll come back. Let me tell you about something, because the wall involves something more dangerous than what I'm about to tell you about. But one thing that's happening in our country and in our state is this radical leftist ideology that somehow our communities are going to be safer if we defund the police. That's crazy. And someone who supported the defund the police movement was my opponent, Beto. Well, in Texas, we do not defund our law enforcement. We respect our law enforcement officers. And that's why I work with these legislators to pass a law in Texas where we now will defund any city that defunds their police. But then getting back, the thing that is more dangerous than defunding the police are Joe Biden's open border policies. Y'all need to remember this. Remember this, it was just 2 years ago. Just 2 years ago, we had the fewest border crossings in decades. And it was all because President Trump put into place 4 very simple policies. Remain in Mexico, the Title 42 policy, the end, catch, and release, and building the border wall. But maybe something just as strong, and that is a president who sent a message that the border was closed. If you want to come here legally, not illegally. So let me tell you something. This problem is going to be solved here pretty soon. Because let me tell you what's going to happen on November the 8th. On November the 8th, among other things, there are going to be 3 Latinas who are going to be elected to the United States Congress from border regions. Two of these 3 Latinas, their husbands serve in the Border Patrol. And they're going to displace Democrat members of the United States Congress. And when they get to Washington, D.C., the first thing they're going to do is to fire Nancy Pelosi and stick her out. And the second thing they're going to do, they're going to fully fund border security, which includes the border wall, funding Border Patrol, funding ICE, and doing what the federal government's supposed to do, and that's to secure our border. And the third thing they are going to do is reimburse Texas for every penny that we have spent doing the federal government's job to secure the border. So let me tell you what we've done. What we have done is let's go back to the time of George Washington and then bring forward all the way to the time of Joe Biden. There's only hold on. This is for historical context. Historical context. And that is during that entire time there's only one state that has built its own border wall, and that is the great state of Texas. And as we speak here, we have National Guard on the border that are turning back and repelling people who are trying to come into our country illegally, and if people get past them, we have Texas Department of Public Safety officers arresting them either for trespass or pursuant to my executive order that requires them to return them back across the border. And to show you how dangerous some of the elements that they're dealing with, 2 weeks ago, they arrested a man who was trespassing in Texas from Honduras. And when they processed him, they found out there was a warrant out for his arrest for murder. That's what we're having to deal with. But listen, there's another category of people. You've seen the people come in single file in one line across the river, being led by what seems to be a sheriff, but is really a member of the drug cartels. And the reason why they're in single file is because the cartels know where the location is on the U.S. side, a property that is owned, controlled, and operated by the federal government. And they know, the cartels know, if they can get the illegal immigrants to the federal government property, they will have their papers processed, and then they will be set free to be wherever they want to be in the United States of America. It's because of that, and because those migrants are being dropped off into these small little towns on the border, like Del Rio and Eagle Pass. I was meeting with them in April, and I told them I would help them out. And the next week after that, we began the busing operation to Washington, D.C. So why Washington, D.C.? Well, two reasons. One, Washington, D.C. is a self-declared sanctuary city, and by God, if they're going to declare their sanctuary city, they're going to be put to the test and have to stand up and be a sanctuary city. And then if you notice, the location where they're dropped off has changed recently, and there's a reason for it. What happened is, a little while back, Kamala Harris was saying that there's no problem at the border. She was saying that the border was secure, and that nothing more needed to be done to address the border. And so I felt a need to be involved in the education process. And as a result, we're now dropping them off at the residence of the Vice President of the United States of America. And then we were busing migrants only to Washington, D.C., and out of nowhere, this Mayor Adams from New York City began complaining that we were busing them to New York City, which we were not doing. And we showed the proof that no, we were only busing them to Washington, D.C., but he kept complaining and kept complaining. So I figured, you know what? If I'm going to get the criticism, I'm going to get the credit. And that is when we began busing them to New York City. And that is when things really begin to change for this reason. New York City is the international headquarters for the media. And there's only two types of people who, before this moment in time, knew that there was a problem on the border. And that is people who live in border states like Texas and people who watch Fox News. And if you fell outside of those categories, you had no idea there were problems on the border. If you watch ABC or NBC or CBS or MSNBC or CNN, they never talked about what was going on the border. They never showed the devastation and chaos caused by Joe Biden. And as a result, no one knew about it. Well, now they know about it. And we will make sure that they're going to deal with it. And by the way, New York. So New York has only about 25,000 or so migrants in their town. And their mayor's called for a disaster declaration. It's actually for $1 billion to take care of. Let me tell you something. If the mayor of New York gets $1 billion from 25,000 migrants, Texas deserves $1 trillion for what we're doing with. And going back, the other reason why we send them to Washington, D.C. is because going back in time, when Joe Biden became president, we had the lowest number of border crossings, and he is the singular cause of the reason why we have increased border crossings. And he caused this problem, but never once has he even taken the time to even go down to the border, see the border, and see the chaos that he's caused. And so I figured if Joe Biden is not going to come to the border, Texas will take the border to Joe Biden. Now, there's something very dangerous happening as we speak right now, again, caused by the Democrats' open border policies. And that's the deadly flow of deadly fentanyl coming across our border. And so the leading cause of death in the United States right now, people ages 18 to 45, is fentanyl. In the state of Texas last year, we lost almost 1,700 Texans because of fentanyl. And Texas DPS alone, over the past year alone, they have seized enough fentanyl that would have killed every man, woman, and child in the entire United States of America. And I've had it with the drug cartels that have caused this problem. And that's why last month I declared that the drug cartels are international terrorists that Texas is going to go after and take their money and put them out of business. So listen, here's the deal. Here's the deal. There's a lot on the line this election. Your future is on the line. Your job is on the line. Your taxes are on the line. Your safety is on the line. But you know something more important than all that? Your values are on the line. And we are not going to let the radical left ideology overtake our state. We're going to push back. But let me tell you something that you may not expect. And that is the winner or loser of this election is not going to be me. The winner or loser of this election is going to be you. It's going to be you, each of you. You personally, your family, your children, your future. They're all on the line this election. And at this very moment, Beto is taking a sledgehammer to your future and trying to destroy it and then rebuild it in his leftist ideological vision. And we are not going to let that happen, because we are going to beat Beto on November the 8th. And we're going to beat Texas. And protecting our babies. And we are going to keep Texas values. But here's the deal. Speeches don't win elections. There's only one thing that wins elections, and that is votes. And I know that many of you have voted already. I see some people with some I voted stickers on you. We appreciate that. But also I know this. There are people out here today who have not yet voted. And so here's what you got to do. In 1 minute, I'm going to go inside. I'm going to start taking pictures with anybody who wants a picture. You get a picture. But after that, you got to go vote. And I came prepared, because here's the deal. If you live in Harris County, I want you to know that the closest voting location is believe it or not, the Holiday Inn Express and Suites, Houston Memorial City, at 10,500 Katy Freeway.
It's Hampton Inn.
Where?
Hampton Inn.
Is that in Harris County?
Yeah.
All right. Tell them where it is.
The two closest places to here are the Maud Marks Library down around the corner in Highland Knolls and the Hampton Inn at I-10 and Mason Road. Fort Bend County, the Cinco Ranch Library, and over on Cane Island. Y'all know where they are. Go vote.
Excellent. So here's the deal. Here's the deal. And that is, if you go vote, you still have not done your job. You got more to do. If you want to win this election, you're going to be part of the team. You got to be on the field. You got to be running the plays with us. And what that's going to require that you do is, after you take a picture, after you go vote, I want you to take those devices that are in your hands or in your pockets or your purses right now. Your phone. In your phone, you have something I do not have. You have a contact list of people I do not know. So we have about 1,000. Listen to this. We have about 1,000 people here right now, and if we get everybody here to go into 100 of their contacts, we will be able to send out 100,000 text messages tonight. And here's, I want you to type in one simple phrase. Go vote tomorrow for Governor Abbott and Republicans up and down the ballot, period. But here's the deal, because you know what's going to happen. That first text may be ignored, it may be overseen, or who knows what's going to happen to it. So you got to do that tonight. You got to do it tomorrow. You got to do it the next day, and the day after that, and the day after that. You got to keep doing it every day until every single person you text either sends you a picture back showing that they did vote because they have one of those I vote stickers, or they send you a reply text that says something like, "If you ever text me again." Either way, you got to penetrate through, because this election is about you. And when you do your job, let me tell you what's going to happen. On November the 8th, I'm going to be declaring victory that we beat Beto. I'm going to say it happened. I'm going to say it is what happened because of what happened right here in Harris County and Fort Bend County today. So thank you all. God bless you all. And God bless the great state of Texas. So if everyone that wants to take a picture can line up here on the left over here.
Hey, Gail.
Over here.
How are you?
Everyone to the left.
I'm SC-17 chair. I listen to you.
Move to the left, please. Move to the left.
Tony and Dad.
Yeah.
Get in.